I have Tourette Syndrome. I was diagnosed over 30 years ago. As you might be able to tell, I'm also a very proud black man. I also have Coprolalia, which means I sometimes tic socially unacceptable words, including the N-word. So you might imagine I have some thoughts on the BAFTA controversy. Let's go. So I know everyone has a lot to say on this incident, a lot of anger and outrage, which I understand, a lot of opinions. Just want to make sure we're able to put that outrage and required empathy in an intersecting controversy and issue with the information that's needed on a complicated thing. When I was elected over 15, 16 years ago, I was thought to be the first elected official with Tourette syndrome. And thankfully, that is no longer the case. And people with Coprolalia only make up about 10 to 30% of people who actually have Tourette syndrome. It's important to remember that it's not just a lack of a filter, it's an involuntary compulsion, whether it's vocal or body movements, and it can also include very bad intrusive thoughts. Now, before I was diagnosed, my mother saw a 2020 special. It actually had a man who was white, and his tic was one of his tics was the N-word. This was over 30 years ago. I'll pause there because I'm going to come back to it in a moment. Now, obviously, we want to practice care when we're speaking about the person who has Tourette syndrome, who is the ticker, because they also require some grace and some consideration. Regardless of the reason, a word like the N-word can cause a lot of harm. There's some spaces where it's not just about whether you're making noise, whether you're moving in a way that people might be a little uncomfortable. This is a very specific thing. So I'm only speaking about the N-word and use of it in different spaces. You also have to provide empathy and care for people who are receiving it, like Delroy Lindo, like Michael B. Jordan, like the thousands, if not more, of people who heard it. They deserve some care and compassion as well, and I believe that's where the ball was dropped. I don't think there was enough care that was provided. And there's some ways I want to talk about how we could have and how BAFTA and others can do better in the future. Back to that 2020 special. That white man who had tics of an N-word, what he used to say was nickels, pennies, and dimes, and he augmented it in a way. And I learned to do that when I was diagnosed. And I want to be clear, because I don't want to harm people with Tourette syndrome. Everyone with Tourette's is not the same. Everybody cannot do that. So don't start asking people to do that. 2, it can be harmful to yourself if you're augmenting or trying to hold in tics. When you hold it in, it comes out worse later. It can also be painful for you. So I want us to be clear about that. There are other things that we can do. One is you can move yourself from a situation in a specific, and this might have been one of the specific spaces that the N-word, if that is your tic, you may not want to be there for a few moments. I did hear that John did remove himself, so credit to him. But it was a story, his movie about his life, about this very issue, which was the reason he was there in the first place. So maybe that cannot be done, or it can. But here's what should have been done. BAFTA should have done a lot more to explain what was going to happen before and after. Definitely should have provided more care for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo so they had the information they needed, and they themselves could have explained what was going on. BAFTA could have censored the damn thing. You had time to censor it and provide more information about what you were censoring and why. And I believe, although it may be hard, that John himself needs to make some comments here to acknowledge, even though there's a reason, there is harm that can be caused. So we have to make sure we're doing this and putting the anger in the right places, but also providing the empathy and care for everyone that's involved. And I believe that was dropped when it came to Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, and shout out to them. Sadly, black people have to know how to have poise in so many situations just so they can survive. Now for kids, young people who are listening, I want to make sure you understand, if you have Tourette's, it's a part of you, but you're not defined by it. It doesn't have to limit what you do. You may have to change it a little bit, but you can go so far in this life. So let's continue. One of the best things that might come out of this is more conversation, more information. Keep the anger, keep the empathy. Let's put it in the right places. Peace.